Hello, everybody. What is up? Welcome to Cantina Social Friday night. It is great to be here. It is great to see everybody in the chat joining us. Happy Friday. I'm very excited for tonight's show. It's been, it feels like a long time coming, even though it's only been a week since the last show, but I'm really glad to be here. It's been a long week. I'm exhausted. I need to talk toys for just a little bit and hang out with you guys. So thank you for being here as always. Cantina Social. We've got the Cantinians in the house. It looks like seeing conversations going on here. So we'll say hi to everybody in just a moment. Before we get started, just a couple of housekeeping things here to call out. Firstly, I just want to remind you guys that if you are buying anything from Entertainment Earth, be sure to use promo code Victoria, just as you see it here on the screen. That'll get you an extra 10% off in-stock items. It doesn't work on pre-orders. In-stock items only. 10% off, free shipping, not a bad deal. Definitely take advantage of that because we need to save every little bit we can get at this point, especially with all the things coming out and especially with what toys cost these days, right? Every little bit's going to be helping. So definitely take advantage of that promo code there. Also want to remind you guys that March Madness, the SWTVC March Madness is currently underway. The voting began earlier this week. Today, round 3 began, and you can go to their Instagram and check out the latest winnings and all that stuff. So just wanted to mention that there. So tonight we got a bit to talk about. As you saw in the thumbnail, there's some Mattel Jurassic. There is some Hasbro Star Wars in particular. We've got a couple other odds and ends. We have some Hot Toys. A couple Hot Toys went up this week. And then we've also got new acquisitions, brand new things that we've been adding to our collections as of late. So I'm really excited to talk all about those things. And who better to do that with than two great friends that are back in the Cantina for the first time in about a year and a half. I can't believe it's been that long, but I'm super pumped that they're here. Before I bring them in, let's see who is in the house with us tonight. Let's see. We got Dodgson in the house. He says, Jurassic News, say no more. He is here. Thank you, Dodgson. Good to see you as always. We got Adam, our moderator. Happy social hour to you as well, Adam. Thank you for being here. And Adam, recovering from his arm injury. So we really appreciate you doing your thing, Adam. Having a harmed arm, broken arm, is not going to stop him from politely escorting people out of the premises should things go bad. So thank you for what you're doing, Adam. We appreciate you as always. We got David Matthews. Hey, David. Good to see you. Thank you for being here with us. We have joining us Peak Obi-Wan. Hey, Peak Obi-Wan. Hello there, Cantinians. Victoria, glad to be back from vacation. Yeah, I want to hear about your vacation. Definitely fill us in here in the comments. Let's see who else is with us. We got Paul with us. Hey, Paul. Good to see you, Paul, as always. Thank you for joining us tonight. We've got Alex. Hey, Alex. Good to see you. It has been a while since we've seen you in the Cantina, but we're glad that you're here tonight. Thank you for hanging out. We got Better A Bob. What's up, Bob? We've got Tom saying that he's unsubscribed because he himself is in this show. So, We're okay with that. He'll come back. He always comes back. We got Britt with us. Hey, Britt, how's it going? Good to see you as always. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. We've got Jurassic Dave with us. Hey, everyone. We've got Nicholas is with us. What's up, Nick? Happy Friday to you too. Friday Eve, Saturday morning. Yeah, depending on where you're at, it could be one or the other of those or both of those. I don't even know. Allison is with us. Hello, Allison. We got Bob in the house. Hello, Bob. We got our pal Mary. Hey, Mary. Good to see you. We got William with us. How's it going, William? Good to see you, as always. We got Miles returning. Hey, Miles. How are you doing? Good to see you. Road Killer is with us. What's up, Road Killer? And we've got, who else is with us? We've got Trevor with us. What's up, Trevor? Poor Frog Lady. Yeah, she got voted out. She got voted out of the March Madness. So sorry, Frog Lady. I did not vote for Frog Lady. Sorry. And who else do we got? We got Lorena. Hey, Lorena, good to see you. Thank you for hanging out. All right, we are good to go. Thank you guys for joining in. Friday night, Cantina Social Hour, the best time of the week, the highlight of your week as well, I hope. I mean, maybe it would be kind of unfortunate if that was the case, but we'll take it if it is. Thank you guys so much for being with us tonight. All right. So I say we bring in our esteemed panel for this evening. Like I said, I'm very excited that they're here. It's been a year and a half or so since they were last year at the same time. And, we always used to do these shows with them because they're a vital part of what we do here, right? So let's go ahead and bring in tonight's pals, and we'll have a good time.
This is where the fun begins.
All right. So you know him very full well as the legendary Grump himself, Grumpy Tom Chorlton. How's it going?
It's going well. How are you, Victoria? Happy to be here.
I'm doing very well. I'm glad to have you back. It's been a while, and I know you're a crowd favorite, a crowd pleaser.
They got to get better. They got to get better options then. Jesus.
Love it. And then returning to the show after a long hiatus, we've got the one and only classic JurassicDave93. Dave, how's it going?
Hey, good. How are you guys doing? Thanks for having me back. Nice to see everyone again.
Good to see you, Dave.
Yeah. No, I'm stoked. I'm really happy that we were able to organize this and have both of you on at the same time. And just like the old days where we used to do this little show. But yeah. All right. So we are going to go ahead and get things started here. A couple other folks joining in. Andrew is with us. Hello, Andrew. Mechanized is with us. Good to see you guys. All right. So, well, let's go ahead and get right to it, I guess. So a few different topics. Like I said at the outset, we're going to be talking about a little Mattel Jurassic. We're going to be talking some Star Wars, some Hasbro, some Hot Toys, some Disney Legacy, and we'll cap it off with new acquisitions. So let's go ahead and get right down to it. So the first thing I want to mention, and this is something I must have missed it within the last 24 hours, but I just caught wind of this, and I just saw it on Instagram, and it's just kind of one of those things where I'm like, I have to at least mention it, because even though I may not collect them, I mean, who am I kidding? I'm probably going to collect them. I was really pumped to see that Trick or Treat Studios is going to be making Goosebumps action figures.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
I think when I watched the one of the tours that the Toy Anxiety guys did of it, the Trick or Treat thing that excited me the most was the possibility of more Cenobites. I think it was them doing more Cenobites, but yeah.
Yeah, these are. I mean, this just takes me back. When these books were out, like in the mid '90s, I was all over them. I may have been a little under the target audience for them, but I still love them. I think part of what drew me to them was just the cover art of the books. They were just really fun, and they really intrigued me. Like, why are these in the school library? Like, there's a creepy dummy, there's mummies, there's like weird things, right? So, but I did. I read them, and I had a blast with them. I used to have a big collection of them at one point, and then eventually I outgrew them, and they disappeared. But when I see the toys here in these pictures, like these are actually pretty cool. Like this is the mummy. Like it looks nice. I don't know how articulated these are going to be. It doesn't look like they're like super articulated, but I don't know that they really need to be because they're just based off of the book cover.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the Night of the Living Dummy, like there's a dummy action figure. Like yeah. I mean even the packaging, you can kind of see a little bit of it there. It resembles books.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Resembles the books. Yeah. I mean, these might be 5 POA. I'm not really sure, but
To look at, yeah.
I mean, I guess the plus side of that is maybe they're not going to be horribly expensive. I mean, I know Reaction, Super 7 Reaction are kind of are sometimes, but
yeah, but I think their print runs are a lot smaller.
Right. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, Haunted Mask. I mean, the Scarecrow. I mean, these are fun. I mean, they look very much like, like 90s, like kind of monsters, which, I'm totally good with because that was like the best time for like this kind of stuff, for spooky stuff. I feel like.
I was already collecting Social Security when these books came out, so they're a little bit past my time. But I like them.
Yeah.
They're cool.
They look fun, and I mean they look great in the package too. It might be hard to even want to open these, but yeah, the Say Cheese and Die skeleton, like come on, like this is just fun.
Wait, what is this called? Say Cheese and Die?
I think I think that was the name of that book. Say Cheese.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea. That's amazing though. That just looks like a sassy
that was one of the
skeleton.
more famous ones.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So Say Cheese and Die was the one where you would take a picture, and I think if you came out in the picture, like you would die or something, like it would show you as a skeleton and you would die, something like that, if I remember correctly. It's been like 30 years since I read these, but
that's fantastic.
Yeah, these are a blast. I think I'm gonna have to I don't know anything about the scale. There's not really a lot of information yet, but I think, I always say, hey, I'm trying to downsize a little bit, but then you see something like this that just punches you in the nostalgia gut and it makes you want to pick them up.
Oh yeah. Definitely a 90s kid. If you pick these books up at like the book fair, they were all over the place. These covers just scream 90s. The art and nostalgia, so they look real cool.
Yeah, they're fun. Okay, next thing to discuss. So there are some photos from Toy Fair. And there were some videos. Our pal Brad Joes from Jurassic Park podcast was at Toy Fair, and he got some photos and some videos of some of this stuff. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the Collect Jurassic Instagram, and we'll take a closer look at some of these. Like we talked about these last week. Some of these we didn't have anything from Toy Fair at the time, but we talked about just kind of some early stuff that like the Hatchling Raptor that we had seen photos of, but this was before we saw like in-hand stuff on the Saturdays. So just to kind of touch on them real quick, there's the Spinosaurus, the Mosasaurus, the T-Rex, and then we have some up close looks at these. So like the Spinosaurus, obviously they completely redid this design for this new film. Like it doesn't look anything like the previous film in which it appeared, but it's it's different. And I think if you see the video on how the action feature is operated, like it actually looks pretty smooth, pretty fluid. This is the big boy here, right? The Titanosaurus is the really big item that they're coming out with this year. This is another one of those huge sauropods that they've come out with over the years that, just they're very hard to collect because they're just so big and they take up so much room. But
how big is this one?
Oh gosh, I mean,
like the Titanosaur is the one that's 100 feet long, right? They've got one in the Natural History Museum here in Manhattan, and it goes through multiple rooms, if it's the one I'm thinking of. So how big is this?
It's probably pretty big. I mean, like, didn't you have the Brachiosaurus, Tom?
I do. I have the Brachiosaur. It's amazing.
Okay, so
giant.
I think I don't know how much reuse there is here, but I
They
think
claim everything is in scale, but I think they take some liberties with. It's probably like brachiosaur size.
if not maybe a little bigger, but it looks
The
like
Mamenchisaur is like huge. The
the Megasaurus was like 5 feet long or something,
Oh,
something ridiculous. So yeah, it's huge. It's big. It's very, very big.
I mean, that's cool, but boy, I can only imagine how big it is.
know.
Oh, wait, there he is. He's holding it.
Oh, oh yeah, there we go. There's your answer, Tom. He's holding it right there. It's big.
It looks
Yeah,
about the
that's-
same size as the Brachiosaur, no?
Yeah,
Well,
with
it
a
looks a
longer
little
tail.
big. It looks longer.
tail.
Like the neck and the tail look longer. I'm like looking over my shoulder at the
Yeah.
one on the shelf. It
Good
looks
God.
longer.
That looks like it's probably the longest one in the line so far.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it does look cool. It does look cool. T-Rex. They come out with the Rex every single year. What's funny is I saw a video circulating around where the representative from Mattel was like, "This is our most realistic T-Rex ever," and then you see the light in the mouth like turn on.
Because they breathe fire. There's no feathers on that T-Rex. He's not a realistic T-Rex. He's a great looking toy, though. Needs feathers. They had feathers.
Yeah, he's they're sticking they're kind of keeping away from the feathers for the time being.
I love that.
This is cool. Quetzalcoatlus. What I love about this one is that this is the first time in the Jurassic World Mattel line that they've made a walking pterosaur, right? And now they finally have done that. And I'm very happy about that. A lot of people have been asking for them to do that for a long time because they've always been in these flying poses and they're just like a static flying pose, right? That's all they do. But like a walking pose like this, I think is pretty cool.
Yeah. Can that neck bend, do you know?
I don't know.
Like, I mean,
it
like
does
this
have
person had
posable.
have like a joint, like so it can like.
Yeah, I mean, it does have posable. Like you can see where the wings fold out, so it does seem like if you wanted to, you could spread the wings out.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Make it fly.
fantastic. That's tempting. And I only got 3 dinosaurs, but that's tempting.
Yeah, it's I like it. I think they did a nice job. We have. Oh, here's a video of the Rex.
All right, what's he do?
No, we don't need the sound. I don't like it copyrighted on anything here. Yeah. Oh, I guess it's just a look at the dinos. But yeah, the Rex. I think you move his tail and his mouth. Like there's a button. His mouth opens and then his mouth lights up. Yeah,
like they did in prehistory.
Yeah.
Science.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, there it is. Oh.
Yeah, you can kind of see the movement of this one here. It's pretty nice. It's
like
fun.
my cat.
I know, the tail wagging.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah, looks good. All right, so what else do we have here? So a lot of Lego. There's a lot of Lego coming out for this film. Lego always does a solid job. I don't collect any of it, but nonetheless, it's nice to see that they're continuing with making their sets based off of the films and the newer content. Mosasaur with the boat. I mean, neat. And there's our pal again, the Titanosaurus in Lego form. Yeah, so quite a bit. One other Mattel Jurassic thing I wanted to share, and this was just we were talking before the show started. This went up for pre-order yesterday on Target's website, and that is the Jurassic World electronic real fill Indominus Rex reimagined dinosaur action figure toy. Yeah, so I think we talked about this in a previous stream, but it wasn't actually like put out there until for pre-order.
Click that yesterday. Second image.
Yeah, the second image. Yeah, so
I saw Toy Shiz post something about this, and I wasn't paying any attention. What?
Yeah, I don't really know. How that made it through.
Squeeze his nuts and he yells. Like,
yeah. something like that.
What is that thing? Because what's the next image? Is it in his mouth in the next one?
I think it's just a little dinosaur that's in his
Oh,
mouth.
it's a little. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's supposed
Yeah.
to like swallow like the Lost World bull rex.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, it
That's
It's like a
swallows
little.
it.
It's soft, so that's how you retrieve it, not like the hard covers on the
okay.
Right.
colossal.
You
Got
retrieve it from its underside, its undercarriage.
Okay.
Yeah, it is an awkward photo. It looks a little strange without context, and
Yeah.
it looks like it almost looks like it's like giving birth to like a little triceratops. It's kind of weird, but I mean, I like this toy. It's not very film accurate in terms of the design, but it looks very much like, if anyone remembers the prototype, the very early designs of the Indominus Rex look very similar to this. It's quite curious that they would base the toy more on the earlier designs than the final film design.
Well, I mean, this one's intended for kids, right?
I mean, they're all intended for kids.
Well, yeah, but so, kids, as a kid, I wouldn't care. It's a big dinosaur. It's got a mouth, and you can stuff stuff into its gut. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, and then
Kids
the
aren't-
color, it's got the dino
Yeah.
hybrid thing. Dino hybrid looked at. It was a book back in the like 2015, 16, somewhere back then. It was a book, and then it got turned into Hasbro at the time when they had the license. They did their dino hybrid line, and this is kind of one of the paint schemes they went with.
Oh, okay.
Very similar. So
Cool.
it's very interesting that to
Mhm,
see them
yeah.
go back to that. But I mean, it's cool. I don't know. What do you think, Dave? Is this something you're going to pick up?
Probably not. I'm just kind of strictly like Hammond collection anymore. But the real feel makes me feel like maybe I should. But I do like the first thing I thought was the Hasbro hybrid line. So yeah, I think it's cool looking. It's definitely real cool.
Yeah. I mean, I do like that it's part of the I guess it's part of the 93 collection reimagined, which is interesting because obviously there weren't any Indominus Rex back in the Kenner days. But maybe this is somewhat of a tribute, like, hey, if Kenner did an Indominus Rex, maybe it would be kind of like this. So in that respect, I appreciate it a little bit more. Yeah, Britt, I see. Yeah, that's a throwback right there. That's a classic VC throwback right there. Yeah, so that's the Mattel Jurassic stuff. Quite a bit coming out with the new film, releasing in July.
I'm crossing my fingers. It's
Mattel's
good.
gonna really pump dinosaurs out like they've been doing since 2018 when they started making these things. It's been nonstop since then, and it being a movie year, it's going to be a little bit more intense probably than usual.
I mean, I waited all those years to get a T-Rex that was up to my standards, and then I got it. And, I don't know if they'll ever come out with another thing like that I'm just absolutely have to have like that. There was the Brachiosaur, and that was just because, my God, that thing's giant. But they are neat. They are neat. They should always have shelves filled with dinosaurs for kids.
Yep, they should. And Mattel's done a really, really good job at keeping it an evergreen, ever-present toy line on shelves. So good job to them for that.
The mute one.
All right. We are going to switch gears here to Hot Toys. There are a couple of things I want to speak about that were announced this week. First of those being the TIE Fighter pilot. Hot Toys has been making Star Wars figures for, like well over a decade now, I think. And a TIE Fighter pilot is something that they've never actually released. So, they've shown prototypes of things like the Death Star Gunner and Imperial Officer, but they've never actually put them into production. But now here's a TIE Fighter pilot, which a lot of people have been asking for. They're finally doing it. I don't know why it took them so long necessarily, but it looks cool. The lighting here that on the photos helps a lot, but I think just in general, it's a really neat looking 12-inch representation of a TIE pilot.
Yeah, it's a great classic design. I mean, you can't go wrong with it. I'm surprised they haven't done it before, but it's fun. It's not for me, but again, I'm going in for like one Hot Toys thing. Are you gonna get a Vic?
Yeah. I pre-ordered it already. And I'm trying to be very careful with those two because that's another, that's another thing that gets out of hand very easily. But
they're expensive.
I mean,
and
it's
they're
a classic.
big.
Yeah, I mean, it's a classic trooper, right? It's the kind of thing that I feel like I should have a TIE pilot, right? So
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah. But no, it looks really nice. The photos here, I don't expect it to be like the most dynamic, like, figure. It's a TIE pilot. He's meant to pilot TIE fighters, twin ion engines.
Right. So how are you going to display him?
He's just going to be in the case with some of the other Imperials, I assume.
You should make him a little chair so he can sit in a chair with like a steering wheel. Make it out of like cardboard or something. That'd be kind of fun, right? You're like, I'm flying around a TIE fighter. Or you could make a giant TIE fighter that fits that thing, and you and your husband could carry it around the house making vroom vroom noises.
Oh, yeah, I don't think he'd be down for that.
Oh, come on. Who wouldn't be?
Not him. But yeah, this is neat. I dig it. As far as the accessories that he comes with, not a ton. He's got his is it the E11 blaster, and then he's got a tinier blaster. He's got it says screen accurate life support device. He's got a display base, and he's got several interchangeable hands, just in case you want to pose him with a cardboard TIE fighter.
There you go. That's the thing you want to do.
Yeah. It's cool. I mean, it's like I said, not the most exciting release, but I kind of feel like, if you have stormtroopers and scout troopers and like, it's OT, right? It's classic TIE pilot. Like, why not? As far as the price, this guy is going to go for $245, which isn't horrible these days.
That's just the standard price on any one of these.
Yeah, for an army builder like trooper type, it's actually not bad at all. The other one I want to discuss, and there's two versions of this from the renowned, universally beloved, critically acclaimed Batman and Robin. We've got Mr. Freeze.
Wow. I mean, there's a big market for that. Wow.
Yeah.
That's bonkers.
I mean, you got to hand it to them. Like, not many companies these days would have the gall to make something like this. Like, and Hot Toys is like, you know what? We're going to do it. We're not going to let this opportunity pass us by. They did pre-order the Batman and Robin, like both Batman and Robin I think it was late last year. They put those up. And well, they're not stopping there because now there's Mr. Freeze. It begs the question, will they do Bane? Will they do Poison Ivy? Will they do anything? Will they do Batgirl? Who knows at this point? But either way, Mr. Freeze is on his way.
Freeze well, sit in the cooler. You killed the dinosaurs. The Ice Age. God.
Yeah.
It's
chill out.
Out. Have a nice day.
I mean, it's cool. It's fun. Again, I applaud them for actually doing something ridiculous like this. And honestly, it looks good. It looks screen accurate. I think he lights up. He's got some pretty neat, like they said, iridescent sort of parts that make him have like a cool, cold look. So Vic, I think they.
Forgive me. Nice. Give me just 1 second. There's something going on. I just need to check on it real quick. I'll be right back.
Go for it. Yeah. It looks good. That head sculpt, like, if the final product looks anything like this head sculpt, I think anybody that buys this is probably going to be in for a treat. I mean, they've just put up the new Terminator in recent months, and now we have Mr. Freeze. So another Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they really do a bang up job on his likeness. They really do. Seeing him here without the headpiece, it's pretty cool. Armor just looks really, really nice. Comparison here with Batman. So if you do get the Batman and Robin Batman, you can see that he's actually quite a bit taller than Batman, which is, I assume that's accurate. but yeah, he's pretty pumped up, and he's ready for battle with Batman and Robin and Batgirl. Yeah, this looks neat. So these are all the accessories you get. You get a display base with the Batman and Robin logo, but it's blue. You get separate rolling eyeballs. You get the interchangeable pieces like the goggles and the upper part of his helmet, if you will. The gauntlets have some features to them, and then he's got the big ice gun with the ice effect, which is pretty nice. I'm glad they're doing an ice effect on this one. This is the collector edition. This is $3.55 is what this costs. But then we also have a deluxe version as well, and this one's only $30 more at $3.85. The difference with this one is obviously you get those wings so that he can, I guess, fly.
Oh yeah, his famous wings that
Yeah.
Mr. Freeze has.
Yeah, so the difference between this
He's
and
always
the,
known for his wings and flying.
He's known for his wings, and at least in Batman and Robin. He's got the wings, and he's got some extra pieces for his display base, like with some icicles and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, for a deluxe, $30 more. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer, I think, in most cases if you are opting to buy this. But you know, it's nice that you have options if you don't want to do that.
Can I come in and be a contrarian, grumpy old Tom for a second?
It wouldn't be a Cantina Sochar without you doing that.
Don't buy the wings, guys. The wings are dumb. They're dumb. Save the $35. Buy a coffee at Starbucks. Don't buy the wings. You don't need the wings. So I got the deluxe Mondo Skeletor that came out a couple years ago, and I absolutely love it. And I got the deluxe where you can swap out. So he's got battle armor or dragon armor and Terra Claws and all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, I spent the extra $30 for that, which, you know, I'm happy to. But at the same time, I'm never going to display him without other stuff. Ever. It's never going to get displayed like that. And none of you are ever going to display Mr. Freeze with Mr. Freeze's wings.
I certainly hope not. I certainly hope not. A couple comments about Freeze. Yep. Mr. Icicle, Mr. Snow. Mary says this is super cool, but I'd rather have the 66 Mr. Freeze. I think that would be really nice.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of see that being like a Jazz Inc. thing. Maybe they would do it. Adam says, I can't believe they didn't choose Arnold's ridiculously maniacal smile instead of the serious expression. You know, that's a good point. It's a very neutral expression, which, you know, I get it. A lot of the time that's what they tend to do. But yeah, maybe if the deluxe had that option where you get another head with it where he's smiling, that would have been kind of nice.
Yeah. Can I ask an off-topic question that's sort of on topic?
Of course.
Why is my favorite Batmobile from those original movies the one from Batman Forever?
Maybe because the production designer that designed that Batmobile also designed the aliens in Alien.
Wait, the production designer was H.R. Geiger? For Batman Forever?
For the Batmobile, at least.
Huh. Okay, that would explain it. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I mean, as a kid, I thought it was awesome, but I don't think anything for me exceeds the '89 Batmobile. But
89 is my favorite one. Well, theoretically my favorite one. It's the only one I have attachment to. But every time I see the toy of that ridiculous one with the glowing stuff inside of it, I'm like, man, that's fun.
Did you
get so dumb?
Did you get the McFarlane one?
I've never owned a Batman item.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
And unless they go into Batman Returns, I'm not going in on them. But
well, you know, there's also the if you don't want the McFarlane one because you know it's kind of big, 6-inch scale, 7-inch scale. But there's also the Target one. I'm sure you've seen the retro one for 3 3/4-inch figures.
Right. Yeah. I'm keeping away from it. That's it's another slippery slope I don't need to go down. But
you are so disciplined.
I'm disciplined.
I'm a sucker for all the Batmobiles. But yeah, I mean, you know, I love all the Batmobiles, even the Batman and Robin one. I know it's ridiculous, the convertible and stuff, but I love that design too. I think they're all fun.
I don't even remember what that one looked like.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's based on a 1940s Roadster, so it has like that classic old timey like comic book sort of look to it.
That would make sense. Batman and Robin was a
Yeah, is it a one-seater? I'm trying to remember. I know that the toy was a one-seater, right? That's the movie I've seen the least.
One-seater.
All right,
and McFarlane just made one of those too last year.
Oh yeah, right. Huh. It's real similar looking, isn't it, to the
Yeah, it resembles the ones from the old Batman comics.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, no, this is neat. If you like Mr. Freeze, if you like Batman and Robin, then you have some options there from Hot Toys, because Hot Toys loves you, and they're doing things because they're nice. At least they celebrate Star Wars anniversaries. I will say that. At least they do that. All right.
Well, what we're getting repacks of some Black Series figures in Revenge of the Sith packaging. That's a real celebration of 25 years of Revenge of the Sith, or 20 years. 20 years.
20, yeah.
God, I'm old.
Right there with you, yeah, all of us.
So we have a new lightsaber coming. This is coming from StarWarsNewsNet.com. So this is one of the Disney Legacy lightsabers. Disney likes to make their Legacy lightsabers, and they like to sell them to you because there are people that do collect them all. They go in really deep on this line. I have a few. Mara Jade, not really something I would be personally interested in, but it is nice to see them, going a little deeper with this Legacy line.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the set comes with the lightsaber, comes with a nice, very Death Star looking kind of crate. And then it's got an edition card that comes with it, and then also a comic book. It says that this is limited to 3,500, which actually kind of seems a little more than I would expect. And in terms of the price, let's see if there's any information on that. No, I don't see any information here on price quite yet. So there is a link. Let's take a look at the. Nope, there is a link, but page not found. So we can't really see the specifics of it yet. But I mean, obviously, I guess they think there's a market for this because they do make these kinds of sets from time to time, and people do buy them. So I assume it'll come out as a single release at some point.
To Deep Space Niner.
That's pretty funny. Hello, Deep Space.
Mr. Freeze isn't known for wings. I don't know. Maybe he is. I've seen him in the movie.
Yeah.
But I don't remember much about it.
Yeah, so that's the Mara Jade saber.
For saber collectors, go in on it. Get yourself a Mara Jade saber. You can remember that time back before Kathleen Kennedy ruined Star Wars with your own Mara Jade lightsaber hilt. Only $350. You can put it on your wall and say, "Take that, Ryan Johnson."
The humor fits. All right. Let's go ahead and move purely into Star Wars now.
Poor Dave is having internet connections in case.
Yes, we should make that clear that our friend Dave is having some connectivity issues, so he's popping in and out. But as soon as he pops back in, we're adding him back in promptly.
Yeah.
All right. So
Sorry about that. I'm having issues with the audio.
Yes, that's no problem.
Yeah,
whenever we're live, anything can happen. Things do happen, and we just roll with it. That's what we do. All right. So, Tom.
Yes.
Last week, you represented VC at the Hasbro Toy Fair event at New York Toy Fair, and you got to go in there and check out all the stuff they had on display. Did you have a good time?
I had a great time. That was a lot of fun. It was after hours. The rest of the place was closed, and you had to be escorted up to the special little Hasbro area in order to get in, and I threatened to run away and steal turtle stuff, but they wouldn't let me. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Everything. I guess they had a Doctor Doom mask, which I saw, but I don't pay enough attention to that side of things to know that that was apparently a reveal there. But everything else you've seen before, all of it. So, I snapped a few photos, which I shared with you. They had a lot of vintage collection stuff there, but again, it's all stuff you've seen. I was excited to see the new retro collection set there because I love the retro collection stuff when it's focused on the original 6 movies. I got some of the TV retro stuff, but then I stopped after Obi-Wan. But the new retro ones, they've got like Han Solo Stormtrooper and the Rebel Fleet guy, and those have been missing from the original line since 83 or 84, whenever they stopped making them. So I'm very excited about those. I got my pre-orders in yesterday for those. But other than that, I don't think there's anything I'm going to be picking up at this point. All the vintage collection stuff, it's either a redo of something that already existed, or it's straight up new media stuff, which I'm not a big fan of. They had the Black Series Savage Opress, Sebulba, Luminara, and Shakti.
Yeah.
Shakti. They had those on display, and those were beautiful. I don't know if I'm going to get them because I sort of drifted away from Black Series. But they're amazing looking. Those 4 are just incredible looking.
Right on.
Yeah. Oh, and they did have the Mos Eisley playset, not the Cantina, but the little Mos Eisley playset. And I love that because it's a plastic version of the original Sears cardboard one. And I didn't realize that initially, but that's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how does that because in pictures it looks a little flat. How does it come across in person?
It's flat. It's like the it's like all the other ones like that. They're all kind of flat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can angle it in different ways so it has more dimension, but it's basically a flat couple of walls. But I'm very excited about that because I like those sorts of things because they're just the thing that you put in the back of your display case, and you put the figures in front of it. Yeah. Right
on. I mean, well, it looked fun. We posted the photos you sent over, and
I had a great time chatting with Chelsea Coombs because she was there,
mm-hmm.
and one of her friends, and Robo from Robo Don't Know. I had a great time chatting with them. Oh, cool. Deep Space Niner brings up the elephant in the room.
Oh yeah. We railed this for like 30 minutes last week. Like how okay. So there are many little things about the vintage collection that people get hung up on that, I'm like, yeah, it's not ideal, but it's not a hill I would die on. All right. This here.
This is
original 96 figures on a deluxe size card. That is a hill I would die on.
Absolutely. When you complain to me that the boots are different from the boots in the show, I don't care. I never noticed the boots. But yeah, the point of these card backs is to put them into a display where they're all uniform.
Yeah.
And being like, hey, this one's bigger for some reason is slap. And I wanted to yell at them about it. But Chris I had a lovely chat with him about the retro figures and the fact that his office is in an airplane hangar that he owns. And he was chatting with Dave Burns.
Yeah.
I think Dave Burns. He was having a great chat with him, and I didn't want to poke in there and be like, so what's wrong with the card size? Why'd you do that? Like, no, I'm not gonna. But I was planning on it initially. What a screw up.
It's very hard for me to rationalize it because I'm sure they had to have anticipated, the sort of backlash that it's been receiving. So it's like,
Like, aren't the carded collectors? You're not going to get a second one, right? Why would you?
I mean, the only way I could see them doing a second one is if they do like a Kenner colored version, like variant, like an exclusive somewhere, something like that. But
No, what I mean, you carded collectors right now. Are you going to buy one to keep on card?
I mean, in full transparency, I did pre-order two, one to keep on card, one to open, which, maybe to some extent hurts the the hill I would die on sort of thing. But at the same time, it's like, well, if there's not going to be another one, this is the only way to get an original 96 Hammerhead on a TPC card back, then
Right.
what option, what choice do you really have? So, but it should never be the case that an original 96 is on a deluxe card. Like, and if you look at it, we talked about this last week. If you look at it, there's a lot of space inside that bubble. There's plenty of space in that bubble for it to have been like made smaller. And the case that I presented, I posted about this on Instagram last Saturday is they say that these deluxe figures, they have to charge you more because sometimes they're a little bit bigger, or they have more accessories, or there's more paint ups.
Well, it's because they can't reuse it.
Yeah, it's probably mostly
That's
that.
what it is.
I mean, well, it depends, because some of them, like the Dark Trooper, they did re-release that as a single. The upcoming Imperial, the Beskar Stormtrooper, I'm sure they could redo that as a single. Hammerhead might be a little trickier, but
like I get that it's going to cost more, and that sucks. But like, okay, we've all sort of those still collecting vintage collection, which I'm not really at this point, have accepted that some of them are like half of them are $25 a pop now.
Yeah.
Hammerhead, okay, he's an original one. You want him, but he doesn't need to be on a bigger card because of it.
No.
Is it so that the stores know? So that the
it's not going to be in stores. It's online only.
So that means it's not even going to go on clearance. So if you want it, pony up.
Yeah, it's just the fan channels and Amazon and Hasbro Pulse. So yeah, it's very odd. It's very odd that they would do that. The conversation we should be having is how great the figure is and how definitive it is, and and it's overshadowed because they decided to put it on a deluxe card. And what I was saying last week is, he comes with the Imperial blaster. He has another hand. He's got a bar glass, and then he has the big Power of the Force blaster, and he's got the Saga collection, like Golden Staff. Like, he doesn't need all that, right? Hammerhead only needs maybe the bar glass, maybe the Imperial blaster, and that's it. He doesn't need to have all that other stuff. In the old days, Hasbro used to say, well, I'm talking about like the Legacy collection, the 30th anniversary collection. They used to do like these weekly Q&A sessions with websites and fan outlets, and they would always say, well, the way that we can give you a bigger figure like Hermiodal or Effant Mon, or a figure with more accessories like Luke with the moisture evaporator, is we offset it with something smaller, like an Astromech droid or a Jawa, something like that.
Yeah.
And these days, it's just like, well, this figure, we're going to charge you $25 for it, but when it comes to Imperial Chopper, which is a tiny little repaint, like, you're going to pay the same as a regular figure. We're not paying less because he's smaller. So
yeah,
the whole thing, it's a bit of a cash grab, to be honest.
I don't think it's actually a cash grab. It's the toy market has shifted massively.
Part of it.
We said a few years ago, well, adult collectors they're the main drivers of these action figure sales now. Yeah, we are, but that doesn't mean we got bigger than the kids. The kids just stopped. So like, rather than it being 10% of the sales, it's probably 20% of the sales now, maybe even 50% of the sales, but the number of units that they're producing are just not anything like what they used to.
Yeah,
like every Target I go to now, the action figure boys, action figure used to be two full aisles, and it's all one now. It's been that way for like shrinking into that for a couple of years now. So
yeah, I mean that is definitely part of it, the economic aspects of it, but at the same time, they could easily offset it, like by doing a couple of smaller figures, or a couple of figures with less accessories, or a couple of repaints or repacks, to offset that price difference. That would be very easy for them to do. So in that sense, they are being a little bit, I feel like a little bit a little cash grabby with the specific release because it's Hammerhead, and they know people want Hammerhead. People have been asking for Hammerhead since the last one, 2006, which was 19 years ago. Hard to believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing is just very annoying, very frustrating. And again, the conversation we should be having is the fact that we're even getting this figure, but instead we're talking about the card size. And I really don't get what their logic was with giving it a putting it on deluxe. I mean, I know what the official response would be, right? It's deluxe, it's a little bit bigger, it has more accessories. But I mean, I don't think that's really acceptable at this point.
The accessories is just an excuse to make it cost more. Like,
right.
What is Cobb Vanth, who Bob here is saying, went on clearance, like all of those things go on clearance. They, and it's like, oh, he comes with a fire effect as well as a helmet and a gun. It's like, that's not deluxe. You're charging more because, I mean, a lot of it used to be Boba Fett tax, but I think Boba Fett tax blew up in their faces a bit. And now they're like, oh, anything that looks like Boba Fett goes onto clearance. All of it.
Yeah, Cobb Vanth. Oh, look, that Cobb Vanth. He's a nice figure, but those flame effects are horrible. They're so hard to put on his jetpack.
I never got him.
Yeah, lucky you.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of thoughts as expected in the comments here about this. So let's take a look here.
Well, let me just say the figure itself does look fantastic. It's a fantastic looking figure. I'm not getting it because I've got my Power of the Force 2 Hammerhead. I'm good with that. He's going to stand in the Cantina just fine. But he's a really great looking figure. And if you want one that can do all sorts of stuff and pose in fun ways, like pose sitting and, get it. He's going to be worth it. You're going to be happy with the item. I if you're an on-card collector, I wouldn't buy a second one. I would just say, skip it.
Right.
Or buy a second one and then get someone to make a custom card for you so it fits properly. The card thing is kooky.
Totally. Deep Space Niner says, I will pick it up when they release it on a standard card. I bet they will. Mechanized says it would have come in a box last year if released then. Yeah, so I think if they were still doing those boxes, they would have put it on a regular card. I don't think they would have put it in a box because, it's Hammerhead and that would just be weird. Or they would put it in a box, right, with all the accessories, and then they would put on a standard card. But now that they're making these deluxe cards and they're not doing the boxes anymore, like I wonder how often they're going to repack things that are on deluxe cards onto smaller cards, because they did it with some of the boxed items, but we haven't seen an instance yet of them doing it on a wider card deluxe item into standard.
I can give you an example of when they'll do it. When 2027, when a TV figure is at regular price, $25, right? Then it'll be the same figure comes out again. He doesn't have the draw or whatever he comes with, and now it's on the regular card because it's not deluxe anymore. But it's really that all the other prices went up. You
could be right about that.
Yeah.
Lorena says, is it a TVC card back if it's too big, though, like for the context of collecting? No. Because the vintage collection is the vintage collection because it's the vintage collection, right? You mess with that formula, it's no longer TVC.
Yep.
So
it's something else. It's TVC deluxe, but it doesn't fit with everything else.
Right.
We are anal retentive nerds, and we want all of our things to fit into a specific thing. There was a big to-do 15 years ago whenever Jabba the Hutt came out, and in it was a carded Salacious Crumb on this tiny thing, and it had a number. And people were like, my God, my collection, and the numbers won't line up. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Who cares? But people were worked up about it then. This is a massive screw up in an otherwise delightful set of products being there.
That's the other thing we should be highlighting is the fact that this year has been pretty darn awesome for TVC. Like Luke Skywalker from A New Hope, right? Anakin Skywalker from Clone Wars, Snow Trooper, freaking fantastic figures, and it's only the very beginning of March. With the Cantinas coming, right? With the Tonica sisters.
The Tonica sisters.
I know. With Wooher, with Greedo, with Nabrin Leeds, right? There's a new land speeder on the way.
That's going to cost $100 for a land speeder.
It's probably going to cost like 50, I would guess. That's still a lot. But and we know that there's a retold Chewbacca. There's Han Solo. There's Obi-Wan Kenobi coming. It's going to be a banner year for TVC. But so I mean, it's important to highlight that is true, but it's also true that they messed up with this deluxe carded Hammerhead.
Well, one of the things that we're really so hardcore about is finish the original 96. We want all the original ones. I don't at this point, but people want all the original ones in the original card back with their super articulated best sculpt available. We want that whole set. So yeah, when you take one of those and you whiff it, it doesn't matter if you've also got Stormtrooper variant number 15 from Mandalorian episode 8, Ahsoka episode 15. You've whiffed the important one. And that sucks. Like, you can put all of the new media stuff on big cards or boxes or whatever. Don't mess with the original 96.
Right.
Otherwise, Freddy Krueger going to get you. Freddy. I'm in reverse, so it's Freddy Krueger.
Yeah. No, I mean that's absolutely true. And I hope that if they do any other deluxe going forward, that it's not original 96, because it's there's I'd really like to talk to them and get a little more clarity, which it's always the official reasoning. It costs a little more to make this figure, but there's obviously
but that doesn't mean it had the blister needs to be bigger.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it had to be. They did those Boba Fett's a little while back, a couple years back, right? Where the Boba Fett tax that everybody was calling it, saying a standard card and they cost more. I mean, I would say if make an exception for original 96 figures, charge more for them than a standard figure, but just don't put them in deluxe, especially if it's online only and it's not going to go onto the store pegs, just do it. Just charge us, more, fine. Okay, 20, maybe not $24.99, right? Because I think for what we're getting, that's a little much, but
they're going to be doing that sooner than you think.
No, I know it's coming, but, and the size of the line will probably continue to year after year, but
how many more of these, how many more of the original 96 do we need? I'm at the point now where it's tough for me to buy any 3 3/4 figures. This Hammerhead is a particularly nice looking figure, but I don't need it. There's the new Luke and Leia. They're beautiful. They're definitely the best versions of those, but I've got the other vintage collection ones that came out 15 years ago. They're good enough for me. It's there's a lot of excitement for the new. It's another Luke and another Leia and another Chewie and another Han, but it's at some point you end up with the collectors having diminishing returns too. Less of us are going to be buying them because more of them are going to start being like me. It's I'm good with what I've got, which means they produce less and the prices go up.
I think if you're more casual into this line, I think that's definitely true. But a lot of TV, I don't want to say most, but many TVC collectors are very gung ho about TVC, and they'll buy whatever is new, old character, new character, doesn't matter.
I just wonder if that market is starting to shrink more.
I'm sure all of these markets are starting to shrink to some extent. But yeah, I mean, 3 3/4 is not. It hasn't been the market standard for a decade. So Marvel's hasn't done 3 3/4 inch super articulated in a long time. Or DC, because DC is just like a kid's line now, right? So.
Or McFarlane's 7-inch line that's just a bunch of
the collector line,
and no women.
Don't get me started. Allison says they mentioned that the larger card was part of the differentiation between deluxe figures and regular ones. Yes, they did, but Hammerhead should not be deluxe. Hammerhead should not be deluxe.
If it's at a store,
has that always been true? Have the card back, or didn't they use a few years ago? They always said that paint was what made it deluxe. Or am I wrong about that?
No. That is true. That's what they were saying previously about like Jango Fett, for example.
Paint is now deluxe. Do you want paint on your
Yeah.
figure? Pay $5 extra. Or paint it yourself, you goblins. You peasants.
I know. Paint it yourself.
Back in my day, Boba Fett cost the same as Hammerhead. They were $2.99 at Bradley's. He came with a gun, and that was it. None of this tri-logo, multilingual nonsense. It's just a good old American Hammerhead.
It's
Right.
gonna be like, Grandpa, tell us about the days when Boba Fett had paint.
His rocket was glued into his back so that it didn't make kids choke.
You know, I mean, I think back to like the 90s, like the Power of the Force 2 days, right? I mean, we know those figures are kind of silly, a lot of them, but like the Boba Fett was not horrible. And
yeah, it was good.
I almost feel like if I had the space, I think I would want to like make like a Power of the Force 2 display, because I don't have anything like that right now. But
oh, do I have stuff in my storage unit that's going to come out one day and be in that display?
that's what I always put in my head. One day, Victoria, one day, and then it'll come around. And I'll be like, I don't care about this stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Funeral Motors, good to see you. It's been a minute. Thank you for coming in, Atari. If tariffs continue to raise, I think the toy market in general is unrecognizable 2 years from now. Yep.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Mary says they didn't even give us a second Anzellin with the IG-12.
Mary, did you lose your first Anzellin? Is that why you needed a second one? We'll wait for the answer.
Right. Yeah, and I mean this right here, like, you know, the comment is that Hasbro is out of touch with collectors. That they're running focus groups. They do these things regularly, right? Like they do them. So I don't know. That's why I'm very perplexed. Is they had to have known that the backlash they were going to receive. So it's just really peculiar.
Yeah, this one we're harping on it so much because it's such an odd choice.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Wait,
yeah.
You had a slam dunk, and then you. This is me mixing my metaphors, right? You had a home run, and then just when you're about to jump to home plate, you trip over your own shoes and fall and start and you don't get all your baseball points. And that's what happened here. It's weird.
Right.
But the Mos Eisley play set, that's a thing. On the other hand, they're doing some great world building stuff. Like, I'm really excited to own that. I probably wouldn't have backed the Cantina if I'd known the Mos Eisley thing was coming out first. It's smaller, it's easier, it's just a street. Yeah.
Well, I still would have backed 3 Cantinas, but you know, that's let's see. Bob says, yeah, I'd like to get more clarity on that. Mary says, I'll take a second gin and tonica, Grumpy Tom.
Yeah.
The gin and tonica, yes, I haven't prepared one of those in some time, but yeah, you have to have Chambord. I don't know how you pronounce that correctly. Chambord.
I'm on iced tea tonight. I don't want a repeat of my my wacky evening like 5 years ago. Yeah, it's a perplexing one. It's a real bummer. It upsets collectors, and that sucks because otherwise it really is. It's a slam dunk of a figure. It looks great.
Yeah. The other item, so all these items did go for pre-order during this week, but the one that has not is the 501st Clone Trooper helmet. That has not. It's a GameStop exclusive, and they have not. It's on their website, but there's no pre-order for it. So I don't know when that's going to go up for pre-order.
I've got the plain white Clone Trooper helmet. Sadly, of course, it's in storage, but I love that thing. I don't need any more, but that's fun. It's just gorgeous. It's so cool. I think I had it here. We were on one thing, and I stuck it on once.
Yeah, no, it is nice.
Yeah, it's real nice.
Really nice. All right, so we're going to go ahead and change topics here. So again, we were in with Hammerhead longer than I anticipated, but it's just, very passionate about that
We're very passionate about Hammerhead.
Yeah. I mean, he's Hammerhead, right? I mean, he's a classic. He's a classic. And it's not just the original 96. It's like we were saying, the vintage collection, right? It's classic, right? It's relevant. It's probably the most one of the most recognizable like toy packaging like ever. So it needs to be, they need to, there's certain parameters that need to be hit, and they missed the boat on that one.
Cuts right to the bone and the core.
Yeah. So Hasbro,
Good job.
all right. Well, we're going to go ahead and switch topics because, Tom, I know you in particular are quite passionate about the retro collection, the Hasbro Star Wars retro collection. And I'm going to go ahead and pull up the pre-order itself. These went up for pre-order on Target's website earlier this week. In fact, I think was it Wednesday maybe, or yesterday? I don't even remember at this point. It's been a long week. But yeah, $59.99.
This week. It was yesterday or the day before. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, what are your thoughts, Dave? How big are you on the retro collection?
I only bought a handful of them. I'm not huge. Like I said, with my age, they were not toys that I grew up with. I'm really started with the Power of the Force 2 in '95, so I don't gravitate towards them. But from what I understand, these are all ones, I guess, or most of them are ones that weren't in the original line, correct?
Right. Some of these are new.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, they look amazing. They fit right in. No one would know. They look really cool. So the only thing is that sticker, that retro sticker. But it seems like some people have some hacks to get those stickers off the card backs there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because they run polls before about the stickers. Like, do people like them? Do they not like them? And obviously, they're still running with the stickers. Or I say they. When I say they, I mean Steve Evans has posted polls about that on his Instagram. Yeah, I mean, same here. Like, Power of the Force 2 was my first introduction to Star Wars collecting. I did have a couple of vintage items. We had a Tauntaun, which I think came from a flea market, and I believe the reason we got that is because there was a point before Jurassic Park where I was just all into like dinosaur toys, and I think my grandmother picked it up for me at the flea market thinking it was a dinosaur.
Oh, cool.
And I still have that to this day. And I also have a Zuckuss that doesn't have the accessory, and he doesn't have the vinyl cape. But other than that, it was Power of the Force 2 is when I got into Star Wars. But I still appreciate, obviously, the history of the Star Wars toy line. And when it comes to like the original trilogy focused retro collection, like I'm very interested in those. Like, I know they've done all kinds of things. Like they did like a bunch of Mandalorian and Obi-Wan Kenobi and Book of Boba Fett. And
yeah, I picked up the Mando. I got like the Ahsoka, Mando, and Grogu and Cara Dune, I think, in that first wave. But yeah, I mean, I would go back and pick these up, the vintage ones, if it wasn't so cost prohibitive. They're getting very expensive now.
Yeah. Which ones are you missing that you need?
From the originals, I think I only have like 4 or 5. I've never really dipped my toe into the original vintage ones.
Oh, okay, you mean like
I'll pick them up
vintage
if I see them like loose. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, I'll pick them up if I see them at like a flea market or something. I have a few, but like none to speak of. I think I have like a land speeder and like a C-3PO, R2-D2, Bespin Luke, an X-Wing Luke.
Right.
Can't think of any others that I might have.
Yeah. And in a way, a lot of the vehicles that Hasbro has come out with since Power of the Force 2 are the Kenner molds, right? Like they've released the Falcon a few times, the A-Wing, the older X-Wing, the older TIE Fighter, like a lot of the Jawa Sandcar, those are all the vintage molds. So, they're kind of, even though they're modern Star Wars, they're still the vintage Kenner items. And I just want to note that Grumpy Tom did leave. He's gone for the. No, I'm just kidding. He dropped out. He's having a tech issue. So when he comes back, we'll bring him back in.
Yeah. I understand. Yep.
One of those nights. But yeah, I mean, they really lost me with the retro collection, to be honest. Like, I love the first wave because I never had,
Mhm.
like I was saying, I never had any of the old stuff. And, over the years, I've picked up a few here and there. But when they did the New Hope wave, I was like, awesome. This is awesome. I'll never have to buy the old ones. I know there are minor differences and size differences and whatnot, but, they're good enough for me. So I was all about that. They did Empire Strikes Back. They did Return of the Jedi. But then Mando was like, okay, they're going to do Mando. Fine. The first wave, they were okay. But then, they did like season 2, and then they did the Book of Boba Fett, and they did Obi-Wan Kenobi, then they did The Acolyte, and then they did, gosh, I don't even know what else. And then eventually they finally started to do some of the prequels, and I'm like, okay, that interests me a little bit more.
It did Phantom Menace, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But the original trilogy, like if they keep building that out, like if they keep doing like more Cantina aliens and Tonica sisters, I really want to see the Tonica sisters in the retro line. I think that would be awesome to give us like a Kenner representation of the Tonicas. Would be amazing. I'm going to continue to support retro as when it comes to the original trilogy. The other stuff, I'm not invested in that. They just went really, really far with that and into the Disney Plus
Yeah, a little bit too far, yeah.
territory, and that kind of pulled me out of it. Tom says Spectrum Internet's customer service motto is just a middle finger. Sorry, Tom. Well, as soon as you're able to get back in, we'll bring you back in. And it happened when we were talking about retro collection too. Darn. Let's take a closer look at some of these pictures here. So this is the box. Let's see, I can make this a little bigger. Maybe. Nope. This is the box. So it's a box set. You get all 6 figures in the box. And here are the figures loose. So you get Ponda Baba, you get Dr. Evazan, Han Solo in Stormtrooper disguise, Luke Skywalker in ceremonial outfit. You get the Rebel Fleet Trooper and then Sand Trooper. The only ones, well, I guess the Ponda Baba, he's like the classic, Kenner figure. But there's a lot of newness in this set. I'm curious, Dave, because I know we've talked like through chat about some of the other ones, like the prequels figures. How close do you think they came? I mean, we can't really say definitively because this is always going to be an approximation of what would Kenner have done. But what are your thoughts in terms of how Kenner-esque, I guess, these look? Do you think they look pretty close? Do you think they look a little bit too good? What are your general thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not an expert. This is not my wheelhouse, but I think, and to my untrained eye, I think they fit in with what Kenner might have released for these. Is it the 5 of the 6 are all new, or is it 4 of the 6?
I think it's 5 of the 6, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, they look right to me. Like I haven't handled these as a kid. I didn't have them. I don't collect them as an adult. So, but they look okay to me, to someone who's not that, not dived that deep into collecting these. Well, they look pretty good. I don't really have a lot to say. Can't add a whole lot. Like it's not my expertise. But yeah, I think they look like an 80s, early 90s action figure of that time that probably Kenner might have done.
Yeah, I think so.
What are people
too.
saying about it? Are they
Yeah, I think with some of them, like the prequels ones, some of them look a little too modern. Like Jar Jar and Darth Maul, I feel like they looked a little bit too good. Like, they need to dial this back just a little bit.
Okay.
But I think these are better. I think these definitely look a little bit closer to what I would imagine, And again, it's all speculation. It's all hypotheticals, right? Because Kenner didn't do these, right? These are like what if Kenner had done them. And I think they did a pretty good job with these for the most part. We can take a closer look here at the packaging. So this is the Sand Trooper. Of course, they never did a Sand Trooper back in the original Kenner days. There's the figure. He's got a new accessory. I don't think that accessory we've seen previously, but it's basically, it looks like,
I believe that's what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah, but it looks like the Stormtrooper figure, just with the pauldron. Luke Skywalker, Yavin. This is one they did in TVC, and it looks like it uses the same card. I think the TVC one though, I'm pretty sure it had blue for the name pill and blue for the background color instead of green. So I don't know why they changed it here, but it's fine. It's not really
It
a big
doesn't say
deal.
Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, the Black Series one did. Yeah, that's right. It was the Black Series one that said Luke Skywalker when that came out. But he's got the medal, right? The ceremonial medal. He's got his the long Princess Leia style blaster. Rebel Fleet Trooper. I'm trying to remember because they did this one in TVC twice. There's the Rogue One version, and then there's also the one they did from the original Vintage Collection run. I think the card.
Yeah, it's a shame they never made this one. This one you think would just be like hands down one they would have made back.
Yeah, so I'm looking at a picture. This is not the same card that they used on the original TVC Rebel Fleet Troopers. So it's a new card image. But still looks good. Still looks good. The figure's got his gun, which okay. That's about all he
lost ammo here.
Right. The head looks very much like the Death Squad commander, like the helmet. Like it looks like very similar to that. Han Solo and Stormtrooper outfit. I don't think this is the picture they use on the TVC card either. I think it's different. But yeah, I mean, it's Han Solo, a removable helmet. And then Panda Walrus Man. Walrus Man has. It's like a modernized version of that card, I think, but the figure looks pretty. I mean, I'm sure they scanned one of the old Kenner figures in order to get it on here, in order to reproduce it. But yeah, looks pretty good.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Then Dr. Evazon. Dr. Evazon looks nice. He's got his blaster, and I think they did a nice job with this one. I mean, maybe there's a little bit too much like detail in the folds of his shirt. Maybe, but I think it's definitely possible. And Tom says,
so how do you feel
with the vintage ones?
Okay.
How do I feel?
How do you feel with, let's say these are unreleased in the true vintage line, but yet they have a card back that doesn't match to the TVC one? How do you feel? Like, what do you think takes precedent? The TVC card back over something that they just made up for these, or you think it should match?
I mean, me personally, I feel like the cards should match the Kenner cards, like more so than the TVC cards, because some of the TVC cards they've changed the images, like Ponda Baba, for example. But I think they should try to recreate the Kenner image, no matter how poor it may have been. The vintage collection, on the other hand, my thoughts are different there. Like, I feel like that should be, because some of the Kenner figures were named incorrectly. Like some of the Ewoks had the wrong names on there. I think the vintage collection should fix those issues, but retro collection, that's where it's 100% an homage to the original line, right? They should totally reuse the Kenner figures there. Those are my thoughts.
Cool.
Let's see. Looks like there's a lot of thoughts on the on the retro collection. Bob says, my biggest problem with this Han Stormtrooper is the body should look exactly like the original Kenner Luke Stormtrooper, which I have. But the Kenner would have just changed the heads, and that's it. The Luke.
Yeah, I can see that.
And like you were saying, like, and the same is true for me. I'm not like, there's a lot about the vintage Star Wars line that I'm not aware of. I know practically every detail about the modern Star Wars line, but the Kenner line, there's a lot I'm always learning about it. So, but I feel like that Luke Stormtrooper maybe was Power of the Force. Is that when that one came out? I'm sure Bob knows. But I think with this, they're trying to do A New Hope, which if it was A New Hope, I would suspect that they're trying to make it look like that era instead. All right, let's see if this works here. We can get Mr. Tom back in. Let's see if this works. Maybe not. Is he still in limbo?
I don't know. We got all kinds of tech issues tonight. It's
All right, let's see if we can get him in. Where it says the one time they didn't reuse a sculpt. Yeah, so Bob says he has all the Kenner figures, so I'm sure Bob has the answers there about that.
nice.
Allison says I picked up the original 12 box. The original 12 box sets of retro. The sides are sort of reminiscent of my favorite Kenner header. There's Tom, I think. Ground control to Major Tom, are you with us? He's lost in space.
Oh no. Danger, Grumpy Tom.
All right. Well, we'll bear with it. When you're live, anything can happen. Trevor says, off-topic question: when could we possibly get another deluxe playset like the Book of Boba Fett throne room, but not a HasLab, and what could it be? I don't think we're going to get that anytime soon because that was supposed to be a HasLab. But then when the Book of Boba Fett wasn't the greatest thing of all time, it ended up not being a HasLab. So I don't anticipate we're going to get anything like that anytime soon. I think that was probably like a one and done sort of thing. Tom, are you with us now?
Yes. Oh, okay. Yes. Sorry.
Hey.
What happened was I decided to heck with it and went onto my phone on Wi-Fi. And so I was joining from that, and then the internet came back on the thing here, so then I jumped out of that. So that's what happened there. I needed to be here to talk retro. If Bob's correct about that being not the same Stormtrooper body, then he's right, and I'm wrong. I likewise have all of them over here. Bob, you have to come over to my house. You live in Greenpoint.
Nice.
Yeah, but otherwise, I think that these look spot on. Because I've got a couple customs. Like I've got a Rebel Fleet Trooper that came out from Vader Trader Store like 15 years ago.
Yeah,
it's great. I've got a couple of the Stan Solo ones. Great, and the Stormtrooper Han, it looked basically exactly like all the customs I've seen of that, where it's just someone taking the Stormtrooper body and putting small head Han onto it. I love these things. I think the choice of Yavin Luke is a real dud. I never wanted that as a kid. So here's my take on these sorts of things. It's always, what did I have as a kid or what did I want as a kid? I never needed a sand trooper. It never struck me, it never clicked in my head, oh, a sand trooper is different than a stormtrooper because it's just a stormtrooper and he's got a little pad on his shoulder. So didn't need that. But it's one of the most popular customs out there, so smart for them to do it. Did want Han Stormtrooper. I remember waiting years for a Luke Stormtrooper because that didn't come out until, 84? And the Fleet Trooper, obviously needed one of him. But Yavin Luke, I never needed a Yavin Luke. That's my 2 cents worth on the retro collection. They look great in person, though, and I'm excited to get all of them.
Yeah, you saw them in person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's plenty more Cantina aliens that could have gone where Yavin Luke goes.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Yavin Luke. I've always liked that outfit. I know not everybody necessarily does, but I've always really liked that outfit, and it makes sense to me. Like that's a Luke they never did in the vintage line in that outfit. It's one of the few, like from the original trilogy. But Bob's asking, see if I can find the.
I saw a couple things when I was.
Oh yeah.
Back and forth.
Is Hasbro just trolling TVC fans by giving the retro collection the original Walrus Man Kenner card back? Yeah, I mean that kind of goes to what we were just talking about. With when it comes to this, like what is the right? What's the answer, right? I mean, I still maintain that retro should be the original card backs and TVC should be like, fixed card backs, but that's just me personally.
What is the controversy here? I'm not quite certain I know what it is.
Well, if the upcoming Walrus Man has an alternate card back compared to the TVC 1.0 card back, but neither of them match the Kenner card back.
Oh, interesting. I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
But this one is the Kenner card back, right?
Yes.
Oh,
I think it's a little bit cleaned up, but yes.
okay.
Hello, Charlie. How's it going? Hello, Thomas. How are you doing? Thomas rips off the stickers from the retro cards.
Oh, I get rid of them too. I use thankfully these new ones are apparently going to be easier to peel off, but I have to pop the window open here and use lighter fluid to slowly remove them. I hate those stickers.
Yeah, that works. So I've never removed them, but I think usually with stuff like that too, I like for other stuff, I've like heated it up a little bit with like a blow dryer or something.
Yeah,
hair dryer.
I did
there was a question here too. I don't see it anymore, but I know it's in there somewhere about Ponza Baba being these wacky, Kenner colors, but Dr. Evazan is just his screen accurate colors outfit. Like, what do we think about that?
Didn't we get kind of a better look at what Dr. Ezevan looked like in the movie rather than Ponda Baba?
Yeah,
like a little bit.
A little bit.
It's fine.
I mean, the wacky colors were I think pretty strictly the aliens, right? Like the Cantina aliens.
Yeah.
And then Return of the Jedi, they were more accurate.
Yeah, they were all more accurate at that point. So
I think that probably goes back to source material more than anything else at the time. But
right.
Yeah, I mean, I think Evazan, he's a Cantina denizen, but I think he's a human, right? So
yeah, this would be this wouldn't be in a New Hope wave. This would be a 1985 wave. So there would be changes to it, like the fact that Stormtrooper Han and Stormtrooper Luke can turn their heads, unlike normal Stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Can that? The Sand Trooper can't turn his head, can he?
Well, the Stormtrooper can't. I don't know about the Sand Trooper.
Yeah. I bet it can't, but man, I didn't pay attention to that. That's Han, right? Yeah.
That's Han. Yeah, sorry.
Bob's right. It doesn't quite look.
That's the Sand Trooper. I would guess not, but
yeah, I think not. It shouldn't be able to.
Yeah, there's the.
How do you guys feel about? I had seen in the chat a while back about the troop builders being locked inside a 6-pack. Like if you wanted to build with the Sand Troopers.
Hopefully they fix that, because they need to fix that with Sand Troopers, Clone Troopers, and Battle Droids, right?
Sort of like the TVC packs, what they wrap in the box.
Yeah, do 4 of them. Put them 4 in a box.
Packs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And this is a question I had for Bob, and he's confirming here. Luke Stormtrooper was the last 17 Power of the Force, but had Kenner also done Han Stormtrooper at the same time, they would have just changed the head. I wish Hasbro would have scanned the Luke body. Yeah, I understand that logic, but I think for this set they were going specifically for A New Hope, like that era. So I mean, I think if they made a removable helmet Han, it probably would have looked more like the original Stormtrooper than the 85 Luke.
No, I concur with Bob here. Yeah, if they'd done it, it would have just been a head swap. They would have made the same body that they did for Stormtrooper Luke, same helmet, and they just would have put on the original small head Han Solo. But looking at it in person, it looked like that to me. That's what it looked like. But if there's tiny little details that are different, I'll 100% trust it. But
yeah, I'd assume that maybe the next box set is probably going to have maybe they'll do Luke, and it'll probably be based on this classic, A New Hope era Stormtrooper look rather than the 85 look, rather than the Power of the Force look. But that's just a guess. That's just a guess. While they're making these box sets, though, I mean, I know there was all the stuff with the Tonicas, right? Like, but like while they're box sets where you can't even see the single figures, like I feel like these would be the perfect avenue to do a box set with both of those in there.
Yeah, you could do a box set definitely. Just full of different Cantina aliens, redos of existing ones plus a couple new ones. The Tonica sisters just repaint the same figure.
Yeah.
Again, thinking about what they would have done back then, it would have been one's in a blue jumpsuit and the other's in a green one. It's the same thing.
It probably would have. Yeah, probably would have. Maybe even have the same head, just different paint.
Yeah.
But
again, the Rebel Fleet Trooper would have just been a Death Star commander on a Han Solo body. That's what it would have been.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what this one looks like, right?
It's a little different, I think. Pop back over to it. Oh shit!
Yeah, it's
That really does look like original Han, doesn't it?
the hands do. Well, this one has a collar, a button up, like shirt. It's buttoned up all the way. Han doesn't have his buttoned up all the way.
Does he not?
And the belt's different. Yeah, I think it's a difference. And then the cargo pants, I think it's different.
Yeah.
But yeah, the head does look like the desk. I don't know if it's the desk squad commander exactly.
It's not. It's a little bit different. Yeah. I've got a custom. I mentioned before I have a custom one, which is great, and this is going to go great with it. I love these things. I'm such a sucker for these things. Like these have replaced vintage collection for me. Like I've got all my vintage collection, like on card ones, and at some point I'm probably going to pawn those off because these retro things fill that exactly what I wanted those for.
Yeah.
I love having the vintage ones open and posable, but when it's on a card, for me, it looks best if it looks like it came out of a wax sculpt from 1981.
Right.
I love these. I desperately hope they re-release a Man-O-Man. I think someone else mentioned that because I love a Man-O-Man. He's so strange. I was so excited when they re-released Yak Face. I'd love a couple new Jabba aliens, more Jabba aliens and more Cantina aliens.
Yeah. Ken's stopping by. Hey, Ken.
Hey, Ken.
Looking forward to watching it all later. Yeah. Somebody asked too if we'd already talked about Jurassic, and yes, we did at the very top of the show, but the replay will be on YouTube, I assume, for perpetuity. So it'll be there. Probably outlive me, maybe. I don't know how it's gonna work. I'll work. But
I think it's a safe bet that it'll last longer than 2 weeks. So yeah, it'll outlive you.
That's kind of scary. All right. Well, I don't really have a whole lot to add about these retro figures other than like what I was saying earlier. I like that they've kind of the pendulum swung back to the OT era, and that's really where I want to see them like play and create new figures.
Yeah. My thing at this point is it's got to be.
I think that's where they're going to make their bread and butter. I don't think the new media is attracting the vintage or the retro crowd.
Good to know, Bob. Yeah, I at this point, anything that I'm buying, there's neat new stuff out there, but it has to have been something that I wanted as a kid, or something that when I was a kid, prequels, I knew was coming up, so was anticipating. So that's why I'm out on all. Like I love Andor. It's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I don't need Andor figures. Don't need them.
While we're talking about this subject, I'm gonna share a photo because I actually was working on earlier in the week on my retro Star Wars retro collection shelf.
Oh, cool!
Because it didn't really have like I mean, it did, but then the space was too small, so I had to give it a larger footprint. It's kind of dark. It's not the best lighting right now, but I'm gonna go ahead and airdrop this over, and I'll just to share a quick look. Show you guys what I'm working with while we're on the topic. So just airdrop this over.
Like Thomas Crosby, retro is my main Star Wars collecting at this point as well.
Nice.
All right, let's go ahead and stop this. We'll present.
I switched to a gin and tonica. Haha.
Does it have Chambord in it?
No, it's just gin and tonic. I'm just being cool.
Oh yeah, you're being cool. Okay, so this is kind of where I left it at.
Aw, I love it.
Yeah, so I put up the 2005 early bird cardboard thing, and then I put all the New Hope figures by their name, except for Tarkin. He obviously doesn't have a nameplate on there. And then I put all the Empire on the left and all the Jedi figures on the right. I didn't put up anything else. No prequel, no Disney Plus. None of that is on here. This is just strictly original trilogy.
Where's Mon Mothma?
She is. Let's see. She's in the very back. She's on the Return of the Jedi side. But she's like way in the back. Actually, you can kind of see her head a little bit over Luke's left shoulder.
Oh, okay. You got to get her a little bit more central there. That is
probably when Andor starts up. I'll probably want to do that.
Oh,
but I really wanted to see Yak Face in the front, and then Wicket would just disappear behind any of them, so I had him in the front.
I'd like to share a wacky Yak Face story.
Please do.
I started working Monday nights at my local watering hole bander, doing a little bartending, extra cash, extra toy cash. And there was a gentleman that was there a few weeks back, and he used to know these guys. They were like in sort of mimes. They were a mime pair called TikTok.
Mm.
And they were in Return of the Jedi, and one of them was Yak Face.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, thought that was fun.
That's cool. That is definitely cool. Thank you, Allison. Thank you, Adam. Britt says, liking the Disneyland shelf. Yeah, so that's kind of a little bit, there's some things out of place on the Disneyland shelf. That's actually something I just started working on last weekend, too. I wanted to get my, like a little Disney shelf together, but I'm still working on that. I'm sure I'll share photos then when that's done. But yeah. Anyway, I got plenty of room for retro up there because I could fill in that whole Star Wars A New Hope thing, right? I can put a bunch of figures on that. So keep making them, Hasbro, and I'll buy them.
Keep making them from the OG.
Yep.
And the prequels. I love the prequel ones, but the original trilogy is where it's like, as a kid, I wanted Jabba's prisoner, Leia, Tarkin, Mon Mothma, Fleet Trooper. And now I've got them all.
Yeah, you got them all. Okay, so I think that'll do it for retro. So that means that we are at the final segment, which is new acquisitions, things that we've added to our collections as of late, a little bit of show and tell that we'd like to talk about. Do either of you want to share anything you've gotten lately?
Yes. Hang on.
Okay. While you grab that, to our friends here, the Cantinians in the chat, if you have anything you'd like to mention, we will call them out. We will read them. So let us know what new acquisitions you've added to your collections as of late. And I think Tom is grabbing his, and Dave is getting his, and I have mine right here.
I think this is the only thing I've gotten of recent is the
show us.
Emperor Palpatine Black Series that I missed the first time it was up on Amazon. I think this came like 2 or 3 days ago. I was aware that I placed the pre-order, I think like day one when it went back up, and everyone was able to cancel and reorder, and it came a lot sooner, but I just held on to my original pre-order. This showed up. I didn't open it yet, but
open it.
Kind of slow.
Open it now.
Collected. I could open it now.
Open it now. It's so good. It's so good. I had bought a third-party Emperor's Throne maybe 2 months before that originally came out. So now I've got a G.I. Joe figure sitting on that. And the Emperor, a lot of my Black Series stuff is in storage now, but all the Emperors are here. And that one, it's like the alternate heads on it are great. So that means you can have one that's sitting and you can have one that's
and the lightning hands.
Oh, yeah. Because you've got a couple other Emperors probably, right? At least one?
Yeah. I think I have 1 or 2 maybe of the re-releases.
Yeah.
But yeah, here it is.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's behind me underneath my cool lamp, which you can't see. But yeah, it's so good.
Nice.
Open it. I'm so glad
this
they
is the only thing I've gotten of recent,
The fact that one skyrocketed on the secondary market was crushing. Yeah, you have to have an Emperor body for each of the heads.
I do. I have maybe one. I know I have one. I might have a second one somewhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited. I got to dig out my guards. They're like somewhere in my closet in the back. But yeah,
Nice.
I love that set. I'm so happy that everyone can just go buy that. When it's something that cool, and people have to spend like $100 or some aftermarket nonsense on it, like no, every Star Wars fan that likes these things needs to have that. So good.
I mean, it's the Emperor.
Yeah, he's the Emperor.
I still, I know I've mentioned it before, but when I got to meet Ian McDiarmid at a Star Wars Celebration a few years ago, and just what he, my question, I'd always wanted to ask him. So did Palpatine, like, did he get deformed with the lightning, or did he always look like that? And he was like, he was like, it's a good question, but at the end of the day, what you have to realize is that he became Emperor with the power of words. It's the power of words can turn republics into empires, is what he said. I was like, that's pretty cool, and he's right.
Something that seemed very clear to me, outside of the obvious commentary you're putting out there, Victoria, Star Wars is gay now. Is when they originally did the Emperor, I'm confident. Like if you look at like the sagging marks on his face, that's just the designer is just being like, he's really old, like really, really ancient. Like, no, not like 80. Like imagine he's like 200 years old. He's that old. Make him look like that. And I think in episode 2, they started putting like liver spots on his face to start to suggest he was gaining that sort of age. Mm-hmm. And then I think they just in episode 3, they're like, he shoots lightning bolts at his face and he becomes old.
Right.
Fine. He was having such a good time in that movie.
Yeah, definitely.
You guys gonna go see it next month
in
the cinema?
Of course.
Me too. I
cannot wait.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you have to show and tell, Tom?
Real quick, Bob, just buy another one, because then you have all the heads. It comes with 3 heads, and all the heads are great. Okay, so I got a couple things recently, but the one I'm most excited about are these AliExpress knockoff NECA Mirage turtles. I got the set of all 4 of them.
Nice.
They came recommended from Mad Hatter Reviews, which is a delightful, fun channel. I highly recommend it. And he'd gotten them and said that they're, as far as he can tell, they're just like the original. So the plastic on them is great. They don't feel brittle like, NECA, the original Toon Turtles that came out, where it's like, it fell over and his arm snapped off. These are nice and flexible. They're wonderful fun. I got the Jim Lawson ones that came out a couple years ago when those came out, and those are the ones that I wanted the most, because I remember the Return to New York storyline so vividly as a kid, because those were some of the first comics I got. But getting it to be able to have these for basically the original price is just an absolute delight. Nice. And I love them. They're sitting on the table, and I've just been reposing them every couple days at this point.
That's a lot of fun.
I love them. Do you have those original ones, Vic?
No, I do not.
Oh. They're so good. That's not Raphael, Lorena. That is Leonardo. Fun fact, in the original Mirage comics, all the turtles had red bandanas.
Yes, they did.
I wanted my birthday cake to look cooler, so I wanted Leonardo on my 5th birthday cake in blue.
But you wanted it cooler, so you went with Leonardo?
He was my favorite. I know nobody likes Leonardo. It was my favorite when I was like...
Dave.
Mine's always been Raph. He's always been my
Donatello. Favorite. Guys, Donatello's the best turtle. Is this really a debate?
Yes.
Answer in the chat.
Someone's got to say Michelangelo.
Who's
Someone
the best
else
turtle?
In here.
Who's the best turtle? Can you make a poll? Put a poll in there. Who's the best turtle?
The great thing, whatever anybody's answer is, the great thing about it is they're all, I love how they each have their own very unique personality. And I think whatever one you identify with perhaps is the one that you liked more, perhaps, maybe. All right, I will go next.
You got a dog.
I have a puppy.
Yay.
Hey, hey.
Oh my goodness, it's a fuzzy friend.
Hello.
Hello
Say
there.
everybody.
Mm.
After the first hour and a half, she starts getting kind of restless, and she starts like climbing on me and like wanting like, come on, are you almost done? Like that kind of thing. Because it's Friday night, and she always gets cuddled after I do the show. So we sit on the couch and just hang out for a bit.
Real quick for William Rodriguez, when you get the He-Man Masterverse Panther, you're going to be delighted.
All right, my acquisitions. I did get the R2 BNE, the Easter droid.
It's really fun.
It is. It's just fun. I mean, that's all it needs to be at the end of the day. It's fun, and
Well, it's an Easter decoration.
Yeah. It says all different types of droids populate the Star Wars galaxy. Each droid is different and has their own unique personality and colors. This droid can be found in the idyllic plains of Naboo. Join R2BNE on their adventures throughout the galaxy. May the Force be with you and your droids. And yeah, the colors are fun too, like the white, blue, and pink. I just think it looks they did a really nice job with it.
I know some people rag on the holiday-themed Star Wars figures, but when I started thinking of them merely as decorations for whatever season that is, they're delightful.
Yeah. What else did I get? I got I don't always buy Black Series, but when I do, it's the figures that aren't available in TVC. Tonight I got Kelnaka.
Cool. Yeah. I saw that at Toy Fair. It's a great looking figure.
Kelnaka.
You're going to be real happy with it.
Yeah, he looks really nice, like the lightness, the head sculpt. He's got a really long lightsaber blade.
No, you know what they say about Wookiees with long lightsaber blades.
Yeah. And then the last thing I had to show off. This is outside of my typical wheelhouse, but I got a bit of a deal on it, and I'm a big Disneyland fan, and this is based specifically off of Disneyland's castle. I got and it's something I rarely buy. Lego. Ooh. I got the Lego Mini Sleeping Beauty castle.
Nice.
That's nice.
Yeah. Maybe I could fit it on the Disney shelf when all is said and done, but it's got Princess Aurora, and it's got it's a small version of the castle. I think they make a bigger version, but this is a small one of the Disneyland specific theme park castle. So cool. I wanted to get it, and I've seen people do lighting on them, like really cool, like custom lighting on it. So I might do that at some point.
Yeah, that's really good.
Mm-hmm. And those are my only acquisitions this week, as I recall. Oh no, there was something else, but I don't have it handy. I'll just airdrop a photo. Why don't I do that?
Let's do it.
While I'm doing that, though, while I am doing that and searching for the photo to airdrop, somebody brought it to my attention that I neglected to run the little. Hey, you're playing with my toy. She's trying to open one of my figures. Hey, leave that alone. Somebody mentioned that I neglected to run the little clip here, so I'm going to go ahead and run the little clip.
Good. New acquisitions.
Nice.
New acquisitions.
Love EV99.
EV99. Yeah, we need EV99 in TVC.
We need a re-release of him in retro too.
Yeah, that would be cool. Isn't it basically the Power of the Force 2 one?
No, they're different.
Okay.
But they're real similar. The Power of the Force 2 one's arm doesn't always break off. If you have a vintage EV99 and her arm hasn't broken off, you're sitting on $350 worth of EV99.
Oh wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Did not realize that at all. All right, so the other thing that I got, there we go. Finally, it airdropped. I've been kind of on a little bit of, I talked about this last week. I've been kind of on a little bit of, for various reasons, a little bit of a Captain America sort of kick lately. And I went ahead and added the Captain Carter shield to the collection.
Nice.
As well. I got a really good deal on it. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to get that. Maybe I can make that work for some kind of a costume or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's fun. All right, so but let's see what everybody else got because I'm curious to see what the Cantina has been adding to their collections as of late. So looking here at the comments, I don't want to miss anything here. Okay. Alex says that my Mesco biker Gomez arrived today. Nice.
Cool.
PW1, I got a second A New Hope Luke and open him. He is super cool. Yeah, he is a lot of fun. He's a lot of fun. Charlie the Unicorn got the Hot Toys Shadow Trooper. Very nice. Very nice, Charlie. I like the Shadow Trooper quite a bit. The red display base is pretty neat.
And I like the little icon he's got with little blue elephant nut guy.
Yeah. Neil, right? Neil. Is it Neil or Max Rebo?
Neil. That's Neil. Yeah, that's Neil.
July through November says, I got the TVC Snow Trooper, phenomenal figure. Britt says, I picked up TVC May and Indara, and then the Black Series Stormtrooper and Rebel Trooper 2-pack. Cool. Huh. Allison says, I picked up a vintage turret and Probot set, and while pre-ordering MoMA, also picked up the Black Series Luke and Leia for display. Cool.
Nice. I've got the vintage turret and Probot in storage, sadly.
Mary says, TVC IG-12 Deluxe. I like the quotes, Deluxe, and Hot Toys John Wick and Sabine Wren. Ooh, very nice, Mary. I believe my Sabine got delivered in the time that I've been on this stream, so I'll have to show that next week. Because I heard the truck, the UPS. I'm surprised the dog didn't start barking. She usually barks at the UPS truck, but
yeah. Quick, someone go steal it from her.
Hopefully my husband brought it in. Hopefully he brought it in. Let's see. Bob says, I bought the Archive of the Black Series Emperor, and then they reissued that one.
Just get another one, man. Just get another one.
Yeah. The Archive Emperor is probably pretty cheap, I would think, anyway. So, but yeah, like you were saying, you need more bodies, right, for the heads.
Got 3 different heads.
Yeah, that's the same happened to me. So just buy another one. Yeah.
Adam says, my acquisition this week is a Ubricrian 9000 speeder from Stansville.
Nice.
I'm ready for streets. Yeah, that's a good one for sure.
Yeah, that's really cool looking.
Yeah,
it's really cool looking.
I'd love to see like a Hasbro one, but I'm not really counting on it right now.
Nah. Stansville's got one block.
Mechanized says, I picked up the 30th anniversary CZ4 droid and Lin droid. Also snagged a TVC 01 Dengar on card. Oh, those are all great.
Yeah.
All great. Darshan says, well, for this week, I have once again acquired my pocket of hair and flies. Sadly, I don't know if I'll be returning to the flea market tomorrow, but we will see.
Well, so long as you have your health.
Strike out every now and then. Hope you find something, yeah.
And then I see a few comments about your question, Tom, about Ninja Turtles.
Right. So, Raphael, okay. You're wrong, but it's okay. Donatello, yes, correct. Charlie, yep.
Yeah. That's not helpful at all.
Come on.
Mikey.
It's okay to be wrong sometimes.
Michelangelo. Wait, didn't okay, Michelangelo. Bob says Michelangelo.
Guys.
Alex says Michelangelo.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, I think Michelangelo is the clear winner here. And it's funny because the three of us, Michelangelo wasn't any of our choices.
Michelangelo is a party dude. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Here's in the half shell.
Turtle.
Power. Trevor says another Dark Trooper. Cool. William says still waiting on multiple TVC figures from Entertainment Earth, but got a few other lines to complete some other shells. The G.I. Joe Classified Serpinator, G.I. Joe 3 3/4 inch His Tank, He-Man Masterverse, Panther, and She-Ra.
The Masterverse Panther, that's the thing I was talking about. It's fantastic. Victoria, that is G.I. Joe Classified Serpentor, not Serpinator.
What did I say?
You said Serpinator. But remember, back when they revealed that at Hasbro PulseCon, before they realized you should just get people that like the toys on, and they had like cool rap influence guys, it's like, oh yeah, dude, I totally love Serpentor. And all of us nerds are like, I mean, I was anyway.
Yeah. See, that's why they can never have me representing GI Joe toys. I know nothing about GI Joe. The only thing I have is the what's it called? The Tomcat. What is it called?
The Sky Striker.
The Sky Striker.
Yeah.
That's on the retro Star Wars shelf. Just
because we all bought that when the Rancor failed.
Right. Yes.
Bad,
yeah. We did.
Click. Buy.
Let's see here.
Well, you can't get a better host than Dan Larson on those things anyway. He's the knowledge bomb.
Yep. William says, speaking of turtles, ordered all the new Joy Toy releases.
Money.
Pico V1 says, got the bunny droid and the new Wave of micro mystery boxes too. Forgot about those. Charlie says, technically I like Shredder more than the Turtle Crew, but Splinter was rad.
Me too.
For the figures, I would say that probably, yeah. Like the Shredder figures were really cool at the time.
The original Shredder figure?
Okay. I know you're gonna give me, crap about the original. Yeah, I know.
It's like,
Love that figure.
I know he could barely stand. He had like the abs of steel and all that. But
that figure was terrible.
yeah, but when I was a kid, I remember it was kind of a treat to get that one because I had a bunch of versions of the Turtles, and it's like, oh, finally the bad guy.
Oh yeah, I mean you got to have him.
And then there was a Shredder too that had like a wind up thing on his side, and like I think his wrist would spin or something.
Yeah, he's like bright weird colors and just
like a bright.
Looks like if a child drew Shredder. Like
yeah,
looks like that. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, that was a fun figure though. Bob's asking Victoria, what is the suit through your head behind your left arm with lighted up eyes? Looks so cool. That is the Disney, I think it's called the Archive series. Sold at the Disney parks. He does talk if you touch him.
Is my head on straight?
He talks, and also you can separate his face plate, and then he has the Phantom Menace head underneath, like the robotic droid.
Does his eyes turn red?
I don't think they turn red. I don't think they. Do you think they? I don't remember. I don't think I've never seen it, but yeah. But he's
that
fun.
Would creep me out.
Yeah. Well, I know because that's your favorite Star Wars movie, Tom. That's why.
It's the best Star Wars movie.
Where his eyes turn red.
We broke him.
He's broken. And it wasn't the internet this time.
Lovely folks. I must bid you adieu.
Let's see.
All right, have fun.
Yeah. I think we're done here. I think we are Victoria downsizing with the shield. Yeah, I know.
We're never downsizing.
I know it. Thomas Super 7 Deluxe line. Oh. Okay.
Oh wait, which one? Oh, the deluxe one. Yeah. That's cool. Cool.
Did we talk about the Tease Cassie Nandor pilot from season 2?
Looks amazing.
Yeah, we did last week. We talked about it a little bit. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't see any other new acquisitions. So that said, you guys, thank you so much. I think we for most of the show there were like 60 in here for most of the time. So thank you guys for hanging out. We really, really appreciate you guys. Cantina Social Hour would not be the same without your involvement and your participation here in the chat. Thank you so very, very, very much. That's it for tonight. We covered quite a bit of ground. We've been going just about 2 hours now, so it's about average time for one of these streams. Should be called Cantina Social Hours and not hours. Yeah. It's never an hour. But Tom, Dave, thank you guys so much for joining in. It's been fun having both of you on here. Like I said, like the good old days.
Mm-hmm. Before the dark times. No, I love chatting with you guys. This is a lot of fun. Love chatting with you guys in the chat too. Yeah, this is great fun. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you having me on. Appreciate you waiting while I effed around with our stupid internet. Even the best turtle, Donatello, says thank you.
Oh boy.
All right.
Yeah. No, thank you too, Dave. Really appreciate
Enjoy that
you being on
gin and tonic
and
and your fun tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, have fun, Tom and Dave, and I got your socials down in the description, so they're there. Anyone that wants to check you out, if for whatever reason they're not already, they can do that. But thanks to everybody, no matter where you're tuning in from around the galaxy. Thank you for watching Cantina Social Hour. We will be back the same time next week, Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, with another guest, a first timer on the show that I'm very excited to have her on. So we will be talking next week. So have a great night, you guys. We will see you soon. And spread kindness and love and positivity. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you very much.